Today's an exciting day. I get to do something I've wanted to do for a long time. I got new clubs. I want to do a what's in the bag because a lot of you asked for it, but I simply couldn't because my stuff is just so embarrassing. So now I got some nice shiny new toys. I can now share them with you. Give you a little bit of an insight into what I'm using and why I've chosen this. I'd also like to give a special shout out to Andrew Morris Golf, based in Northern Ireland near Belfast, the home of custom fitting. You're going to get a really good service and the right clubs for you. So I'll link those guys in the description. Click the link and you can book yourself a custom fit. All right, let's get stuck in. So what's in the bag? Well, presumably that starts with what is actually in my bag, right? So we'll get to the clubs in a minute, and obviously the driver, that's everyone's most exciting bit. But let's kind of dig into the pockets because there's actually some things here that are pretty essential to take out on the golf course, okay? So I want to talk about first with the golf ball that I use, okay? And that is the TailorMade TP5. Now, when I had my recent fitting, this ball was advised better than the X. I was using the X, so I've changed to this one and really been enjoying it. So using that, in that pocket is just purely golf balls, okay? Now, as we move into the, you know me, I'm a bit of a swing, I wouldn't say mechanic, but do like the golf swing. So I keep a couple of various training aids. This one is actually really good for my club face at the top. What I do, if you've seen this, the swing guide, we kind of place it on the center. Now what I do is I actually turn it a little bit more to the right, so offset to my right, and that actually helps me get the club face a little bit more closed at the top. So that's something you can try. Always like to have that just to get some feels in. Of course, Bushnell laser, absolutely essential. I'll actually tie that in with the watch out on the golf course. We'll kind of run through this here. Bags of teas, okay. There's a bottle top from maybe one of the last times I played. Groove cleaner for obviously the new clubs, want to keep those sharp. Lots of teas, different teas, and of course golf ink. This pen actually is fantastic. That seeps into the ball so it doesn't wear off when you hit a shot. You know, you line it up, hit a ball, comes off on your club. This one doesn't, so really love that. Into the gloves, again, another shout out. So you keep them in a little sandwich bag, right, we use for the kids' lunch. Keeps them a bit more fresh. So keep a few gloves in here so that I can chop and change when I need if one's starting to feel a bit off. Into other pockets, right? This is where you start to dig into the stuff that you didn't know you had in your golf bag, right? We got a little notebook, okay? And in here I'll kind of periodically just jot down some things that maybe when I was practicing, some good feels and things that worked, or maybe jot some stuff about a round that I did, like that recent open one. If you haven't seen that, go out, check it. Link it in the description as well. And yeah, if you want to see a meltdown, you want to see a nearly 40-year-old man have an absolute tailspin, that's the one to go for. Painkillers, you never know when the back's going to be sore out in the golf course, or you could well be nursing something from the night before, and that can help. Pencil, obviously. A couple other essentials in here, which is more paracetamol and a fiver. All right. So just a few things in there that I think, you know, every golfer should kind of have, okay? And a couple of quid as well in case you're playing your mates for a pound or so and you lose, at least you can pay them, okay? So listen, I'll glance over that. Now let's get into the exciting bit, right? Now these are the clubs. As I said at the start of this, the stuff I was using was, we'll call it subpar, right? It really wasn't good. I started back playing, as a lot of you watching this, if you're a subscriber, you'll know I took a long break off, didn't compete, now I'm back playing and loving it. Also got a big announcement coming as to my plan next, so it's a very outlandish idea, and yeah, I'm just gonna do it. I'll release one on that soon. So my stuff was really bad. I'd been playing with it. I thought, let's get myself from my game to a level, and my swing to a level where I feel like it's worth me getting fitted, all right? And I kind of got to that point. Now, unfortunately, they didn't come before open qualifying, and I couldn't put them in the bag. Had I put them in, probably would have been worse because I wasn't used to them. All right, so I've got 3 or 4 rounds in. I'm starting to get used to the clubs. So what we'll do is we'll start at the bottom end, and we'll leave the putter because that's special, right? I mean special. Right, I went for TailorMade MG4, okay? Now, slightly different, because the irons are different, which I'll show you in a moment. I changed the loft. I've always used 52, 56, 60, my older clubs, were a slightly, say, weaker loft or more traditional, like back in the day. So change that up to kind of bridge the gap between pitch and wedge and gap wedge, you know, so these are a little bit stronger. I didn't want too big a gap. And that's something actually really important, and the guys here can help you with. If you're getting fitted for clubs, don't ignore the gap wedge, okay? Don't stop your irons at pitching wedge. You need to look beyond that, because if you put in a sand wedge, well, you've got like 10, 12, maybe even 13-degree gap, which is nearly 2 or 3 clubs of a gap in there that you need filled, and that's where gap wedges come in. And some people even need to carry, like, you could call it 2 gap wedges or a weaker pitching wedge, just because the irons have gotten that much stronger. So when you're doing a fitting, hopefully here at Andrews, they'll take you through that. Make sure your gapping is good as well, right? Really important, something I'm glad I did. In terms of set makeup, this shaft is a stiff Tour 120 Modus, okay? Now, interestingly enough, what I did was in the 50, because I'm typically hitting that a little bit harder, that's the X, so it's 105, so it's a little lighter. It's X Flex in the Modus 105, okay? So putting that in, because I'm hitting this a little more full, that's gonna represent or be a little bit more like my irons, okay? So that's why we've done that. These ones are not gonna be hitting as hard, the 54 and the 58, hitting a little bit softer. So we went with a slightly heavier shaft, keep the flight down, probably gain a little bit more control as well. So the iron shafts, a little bit of a giveaway already, but I'll talk more about those in a second. Now the other thing that I've done is, well, I've been practicing, and it looks like I'm towing it a little bit. So I've went slightly flat with the lie angle, which is great for me. I hate the toe sitting up in the air at all, okay? Helps me keep the hands down a little bit lower and exit left, and it's a bit more beneficial for me. So slightly flatter. And a common trend across the whole bag is that I have went with standard grips, not mid-size, but they are thicker with extra layers. So what there is there's 3 layers under the lead hand, and then there's an extra 3 on top of that, okay? So 3 and 3, so 6 under the right hand and 3 under the lead hand, okay? Now, the reason for that is I do get, and if you've been watching my journey, I'll kind of move these over and we'll just ping a couple of balls as well. Do you have a tendency to get that little bit flippy on the way through, okay? So you get quite active with the club face, so having that little bit of a thicker grip does kind of help me, okay? And I just like the feel of it in my hands, and that's something important too when it comes to getting fitted, that you check the lie angle or the grip thickness on your clubs as well. Well, that was decent, and it was still flippy. So even the grips can't fix me, right? So into the irons. Now this is a bit of a mad one, this will probably shock some of you, but I have gone with the TaylorMade P770. Now why did I not go for the slimmer profile one in the MC? Well, I don't want to make the game any harder, okay? And the cool thing is now what I can do is I can play with these in the short irons and then think to myself, you know, I maybe do want that little bit more slimmer profile, and then what I can do is I can maybe go 7, 8, 9 pitching wedge in that set and just kind of bleed them in like a combo set. I used to have a lot of combo sets when I was younger, and I love the idea of it. A little bit more forgiveness in the long irons and a little bit less in the short irons, where you can gain some control and a little bit more feel, okay? So with that, again, Modus 105X, okay? What I was using, which I found this really interesting during my fitting, I was using the KBS 120 stiff, okay? I didn't realize, but it's a counterbalance shaft, okay? Now, a little bit of my tendency in my swing is, again, to kind of pull down steep on the clubs. A really common issue for a lot of people, and the other people then kind of thrust towards it to try and fix that and do a whole load of manner of different things. But I kind of commit to that and really swing left, gets me quite handsy at the bottom. Now, that being a counterbalance shaft, that was forcing me to kind of tip the club more this way. So we've chosen a slightly lighter option, 105X. So even though it's stronger, it actually feels to me when I'm hitting it that it's kind of softer in a way, even though it's a stronger shaft. The weight is very, very different, right? There's a little bit of transition with that, but I love it when it works because it flights better, lands soft, okay? I can really feel like I can control and do what I want with them, all right? So lovely, lovely golf clubs, lovely shaft. I didn't think that was what I'd come out with, but again, that's why it's so important you get fitted, to find out and try different shafts. You see how many different shaft combinations the guys have here. It's mad to think that you would go and get a set of clubs off the rack, because how are you going to know if that's right for you? It's really just so much about trying. Let the fitter do his job and say, this shaft is good for you, this one is not, your current are good, your current is not, whatever it is. And really, really important. The shaft's so important, all right? So head design, I ran that all the way down from, well, pitching wedge down to 4, okay? And this is where it gets really interesting for me. And as I say, I've played a couple of rounds and this has blown my mind, okay? I had a 2-iron. Again, if you're a subscriber to me for a long time, you know that thing is like Marmite. And if you're not, you don't know what Marmite is, either love it or you hate it, okay? So it worked so well, or it was horrendous. And we probably all have a club like that in our bags. So what I did was, after that, I went into a hybrid. For the first time in my life, I have a hybrid, okay? Now this is a 3 hybrid. So I'm jumping, I'll talk about the 3-wood in a second and what I've done there. I find this bit the best about it all, because we gapped the distances. So we found out how far my 4 went. We wanted something to go next to that. We had my 3-wood then, and we had the gapping from 4-iron to hybrid to 3-wood to driver absolutely dialed in, and gave me so many more options, which I just didn't have before. So now having this hybrid, and I can say I have been hitting it in the last couple of rounds, and Jesus, like, why did I not have a hybrid before? Maybe it was an ego thing, but certainly it is absolutely phenomenal. The way that it flies, the height I can achieve, I can hit it low, and I can't do that with the 2-iron. So buzzing with that, right? We've went for an extra stiff tensai. Okay, if I'm butchering some of these tags, I used to custom fit. I've been out of it for a long time, and the shafts are all different, right? Probably 5 or 6 years ago since I fitted clubs. I do know a little bit, but I'm kind of out of the loop, a touch with the technology. So extra stiff 95 gram hybrid, so a little lighter than the irons, which as it should be. All right, this thing here, my goodness. Oh, I got the Jag head cover, by the way. It's my old university in Alabama, University of South Alabama. So I always keep that on there as a nice little memory. This one, this is a tailor-made, okay? Now, interestingly, this is a 16.53 HL, so 3-wood high launch. All right, it's the new QI 35. What I can do with this is phenomenal. I'm gonna say it because my old 3-wood was just like a one-trick pony. It came out really hot. Sometimes it go nearly as far as a driver, and you just don't really want that when you're maybe got a water hazard sitting down there at like 240, 250, and you want a club that you know won't reach. Well, that other 3-wood, if I hit it, it could run into that, and it caught me out a few times in the past. So with this, I've actually been able to now hit par 5s in 2 with the ball launching, okay? And we put the V2, this thing, didn't know it was back in action. This was a really old shaft back in the day, used to come in the Titleist, if anybody watching remembers that. 7X, all right? I love this thing, and it's really, really launching unbelievably well, okay? So as we come into the driver, and then finally the putter, which is the real daddy, we've got QI 35, LS, low spin, 9 degree, and we have the sleeves set at standard, right? That seems to be working quite well at the moment, so I'm enjoying that. And we went for X. Now, a lot of these shafts being X, I'm not really swinging it as quick as I should be, but it is coming, I hope, right? I've lost the weight now, I need to get the speed up. 60X, and it's just going to be something that I can play into as I develop a little bit of speed, right? It's 9 degree, and I've hit it again lovely on the golf course. Of course, I've hit it bad as well. I hit my old one bad too, so right, last but not, and let me know in the comments, by the way, if you have any questions about the club in case I'm missing something, or you want to know more about it, or the fitting experience, okay? I'm more than happy to help you out, and the guys here at Andrew Morris too will help you out, and that link will be in the description. This putter, I changed all that stuff. I need to change the bag too, by the way. Just waiting on a tailor-made bag, but I have to use a ping one, sorry. The putter is like, you'll laugh, right? To me it looks nice, to other people it doesn't. They tell me that, I know that. It's battered, it's center shaft, not everybody likes that. I think it's 32 inches, and the grip is a ping grip, right? This thing, though, I cannot lose, because it's the one club that I have the most confidence with and real good control over. I know what it's doing. So we're keeping that for now. I fear if I change that, I might lose the best part of my game, and I can't afford to do that because the rest of it's not the best, right? So pretty much, that's a run through. As I say, I got a lot of requests for what's in the bag, and I couldn't do it because the stuff I had, you just wouldn't want to, you'd just laugh. So now we've done it, now we've got the stuff, now it's time to grind on it. I will let you know this update that's coming, my big challenge. I would say it's probably even more, it's bigger than the Open Qualifier. And yeah, we'll post that one soon. And again, thanks to the guys here at Andrew Morris. Remember that, link's in the description. You want to get a custom fitting experience, get the right clubs for you, and a good team of guys with great customer service. Hit that link, especially if you're in the Northern Ireland or even Ireland. Make the trip, it's well worth it. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you soon.